I was standing outside my childhood home at 32 years old, holding an eviction notice with my parents' names on it. The same parents who thrown me out when I was 9 years old because they decided I was too much trouble. Too expensive, too difficult compared to my perfect younger brother. And now here they were 23 years later begging me not to go through with it. My mother crying on the porch saying, "How can you do this to your own family?" And I looked at her with zero emotion and said, "The same way you did it to me when I was a child." Because I've never forgotten that night. Never forgotten standing in the rain with a garbage bag of clothes watching them close the door. And now the door was closing on them, and they finally understood what abandonment felt like. Let me take you back to that night. The night that changed everything. I was 9 years old, 4th grade, struggling in school because I had undiagnosed ADHD that made sitting still impossible, made focusing hard, made me the problem child that teachers complained about. My parents were young, had me when they were 19, never really wanted kids that early. Then my brother came along when I was 4 and he was everything I wasn't: calm, obedient, easy. He was the child they actually wanted and I was the mistake that came first. My parents fought about me constantly. I hear them through the walls at night. My dad saying, "I can't deal with her anymore. She's exhausting." My mom saying, "Maybe there's something wrong with her. Normal kids aren't this difficult." And I'd lie in bed trying to be quieter, trying to be better, trying to be more like my brother so they'd love me the way they loved him. The night it happened, I'd gotten in trouble at school. Knocked over a science project by accident. The teacher called my parents. They had to come pick me up early. And when we got home, my dad exploded screaming about how embarrassed he was, how I was ruining their lives, and my mom just stood there crying, not defending me, just crying like I was this burden she couldn't carry. Then my dad said something I'll never forget. "I'm done, she needs to go." And my mom nodded. Actually nodded like throwing away your 9-year-old daughter was reasonable. They told me to pack a bag, said I was going to stay with my grandmother. Just until we figure things out. But I knew it wasn't temporary. I knew I was being erased. My grandmother lived 3 hours away. They didn't even drive me there. My dad put my clothes in a garbage bag, literally a garbage bag, walked me to the corner bus stop. It was raining. He gave me $20 and a bus ticket and said, "Your grandmother's expecting you." Then he left, walked back to the house, and I stood there 9 years old in the rain, watching him go back inside to the family that didn't include me anymore. I took that bus by myself, 3-hour ride, crying the whole time, terrified my grandmother took me in, but she was 72. Living on Social Security, she couldn't really handle a difficult kid. She tried, but after 6 months her health was failing, so I went into foster care at 10 years old, spent the next 8 years bouncing between 7 different families, never adopted because I was too old with behavioral issues. Really, I just had ADHD and abandonment trauma, but nobody cared enough to help. I aged out of foster care at 18 with $500 and nowhere to go, worked 3 jobs, slept in my car for 8 months. Studied at the library, took community college classes, fought through every obstacle while my parents lived comfortably with my brother pretending I'd never existed. I graduated with a business degree, got into real estate, started buying foreclosed properties, fixing them up, renting them out. I was hungry in a way people who've never been abandoned can't understand. By 25, I had 10 rental properties. By 30, I had 43. Built a portfolio worth $12 million, all by myself, no help. Just rage and determination and a promise I'd made that I'd be successful enough they'd regret what they did. I never reached out to them, never tried to reconnect. Found out through public records that my brother went to college on their dime. Got married, they were grandparents now, posting happy family photos that didn't include me, living like I'd never been born. Then 6 months ago I was reviewing properties in my hometown and I saw it. My childhood home in foreclosure, they'd refinanced multiple times, taken out equity apparently for my brother's life. Couldn't make payments anymore. The bank was foreclosing and I bought it, paid cash. Outbid everyone at auction. Became the owner of the house they'd thrown me out of 23 years ago. I waited a month before sending the eviction notice. Let them get comfortable. Then had my lawyer serve them papers. 30 days to vacate. And I waited for the call I knew would come. My mother called first. Didn't recognize my married name. "Please, we're trying to work with the new owner. We have nowhere to go." And I said, "I'm the new owner." Long silence, then crying. "Sarah? We've been trying to find you for years," which was a lie. "Please, you can't do this. We're your parents. We made mistakes." I said, "Yes, I can. The same way you threw out a 9-year-old child in the rain with a garbage bag. You made your choice. Now live with it. My dad showed up at my office 2 days later. I have a real estate firm now. Employees, visible success. He looked old, worn down, tried to hug me. I stepped back. Don't touch me. Say what you came to say and leave. He tried apologizing. We were young. Didn't know how to handle a difficult child. We've regretted it every day, please. We're family. And I laughed. Family? You threw me away at 9. Didn't call. Didn't visit. Let me rot in foster care for 8 years. Didn't come to my graduations, my wedding, nothing, and now you want family? Now that you need something? He tried to justify it. You don't understand the pressure we were under. We couldn't afford 2 kids. We thought your grandmother would be better. And I cut him off. You afforded my brother just fine. Paid for his college, his wedding. You didn't throw him away. Just me. Because I was difficult, because I had undiagnosed ADHD. Because I wasn't easy enough. You chose comfort over your child. He broke down. Please, we have nowhere to go. We're too old to start over. Your brother can't take us in. You're our only option. Hearing that I was the last resort after the golden child rejected them was perfect. You have 30 days. Figure it out the same way you told a 9-year-old to figure it out. My mother tried next, showed up with old photos. Remember when you were little? We can be a family again. And I looked at those photos of the little girl I used to be. That little girl died on a bus 23 years ago. You killed her when you chose convenience over love. I'm not your daughter. I'm the person you created when you abandoned a child. She tried guilt. We're going to be homeless. Is that what you want? I said, you made me homeless at 9. I survived. You'll survive. There are shelters, social services, all the things I had to use. The 30 days passed. They didn't leave voluntarily. I had the sheriff remove them. Watched from my car as they packed. My brother showed up, saw me. Knocked on my window. How can you be so cruel? They're old. They made a mistake decades ago. I looked at him, the favorite. They didn't make a mistake. They made a choice. They chose you over me, and that choice had consequences. You could take them in. But you're not, so don't lecture me about cruelty. He called me a monster. Heartless, I said. No, I became a survivor. Now get off my property. I sold that house 2 weeks later, made $150,000 profit, donated it to a foster care nonprofit that helps kids aging. Out of the system kids like I was, I didn't need the money, I needed the closure. My parents ended up in a small apartment my brother helped them find. They're surviving, struggling the way they made me struggle. My mother sends cards I don't open. My father tries reaching out through social media I've blocked. They want forgiveness, want me to be the bigger person. But I won't. Because that night when I was 9 standing in the rain with a garbage bag, watching them choose my brother over me taught me who they were, and people like that don't deserve second chances. I'm 32 now. I have a husband who loves me, friends who are more family than blood ever. I'm in therapy working through the trauma. I'm successful beyond anything they could have imagined, and I'm happy without them. That's what they can't stand, that I didn't need them to survive, that I thrived, that the daughter they threw away became someone they'd be proud of if they hadn't forfeited that right. If you enjoyed my story, please like and subscribe and share this with anyone who survived abandonment, who was thrown away by people who were supposed to protect them, because here's the truth. You don't owe forgiveness to people who destroyed your childhood. You don't owe family loyalty to people who treated you like trash. When I was 9, my parents threw me out like garbage. I never forgot that night, and I made sure they never forgot it either.